Good evening, everyone. It is Scott Schilling. I am so glad you are here. We are talking about a pretty important topic as we come into a new decade, not just a new year, and that is about believing and our ability to create that place of belief. So, again, welcome. My name is Scott Schilling, if we haven't met. I absolutely love supporting people who are motivated to improve their lives. That's exactly why I'm an executive coach, an international speaker and trainer. And fortunately, I've been around for a little bit. So I've got this unique combination of 35 plus years of life experience, also business experience in sales, marketing, training to corporations, business owners, and entrepreneurs, as well as individuals like we're doing here in many cases. I've been tremendously fortunate in my career to present at over 2,500 live events, and I've shared the stage with virtually every name you know. General Colin Powell, Susie Orman, Jack Canfield, Mark Victor Hansen, former First Lady Laura Bush, and many, many more. Stephen Forbes, Tom Hopkins, Brian Tracy, just some amazingly great people. I've personally sold well over $25 million in products and services that have been designed to truly help others achieve more in their lives. So I love the ability to, or I love the opportunity to present things for people's consideration, which truly will benefit them as we go along. And, I appreciate you being here, whether it be live or on the recording, because I guarantee this presentation tonight will be a life-changing experience. There's no doubt about that fact. So let's get it started. So why is confidence so important? Well, self-esteem is how we view ourselves. It's really our own value and our sense of worthiness. It's a really critical component to our decision-making and our risk-taking and our motivation. Those with lower self-esteem tend to believe that they are not as worthy of things as others, such as maybe achieving their personal goals. Well, while those with higher self-esteem embody a more resilient approach, and they tend to overcome obstacles because they're sure that they are worth the desirable outcome. Think of one thing that you hold a lot of value in. I don't know, maybe it's gardening, for example. You will make sure to put the energy in to keep your garden well watered and well weeded. You may even exert a little extra effort in researching the best plants to make sure that you're growing the right things for the best growing conditions and all that. It's very similar to self-esteem, except that it's yourself that you're taking care of, not the garden. So healthy self-esteem or value in oneself breeds confidence. Now, a quick definition. Confidence is defined as a feeling of self-assurance rising from one's own appreciation of one's own abilities or qualities. You see where I'm going with this? A lack of self-confidence keeps us from living our lives to the fullest. We become afraid to freely express ourselves or contribute our ideas in a public setting or an open setting or in meetings. We even, keep from sharing our talents and our gifts, which that's really a shame. So the benefits of becoming more confident include things like more happiness and enjoyment. You can have more fun, less self-doubt and limitations. You're going to gain strength in your capabilities, and that's going to give you freedom from fear and anxiety. It's also going to provide a reduction in stress, and you're going to have a natural motivation to want to do more. Now, I'm really big on the I word as opposed to the M word, inspiration. You want that internal inspiration to come out. Motivation is great. It's an outside-in activity and tends to only last as the motivator is there, whereas inspiration comes from the inside out, and we are inspired to go do things. You'll also have greater or maybe more attainable success when you have more confidence. So quickly, are you interested in making this shift happen? I think you probably are. Well, let's get into it a little deeper. So, how do you talk to yourself? Yep, you read it right. How do you talk to yourself? I know you're sitting there going, do I talk to myself? I'm not sure I talk to myself. I don't think I talk to myself. Well, you're talking to yourself. Are you harsh and judgmental, or are you supporting and loving? The whole point is we all talk to ourselves, sometimes even out loud. And there are two distinguishable modes of talking to ourselves. Instructional, that's like working through a task, and motivational, inspirational, such as, I can do this. Well, this inspirational self talk is closely related to our confidence levels and what we believe we're capable of accomplishing. The Faculty of Physical Education and Sports Sciences at the University of Tehran in Iran conducted a study on how motivational self talk improved basketball abilities. Over 150 students were involved, and the results concluded that positive self talk and a can do attitude improved their speed and their accuracy immensely versus a control group. Believing and telling yourself that you're capable of the task, even if it's a physical one, contributes to excelling at it. Isn't that remarkable? I think that's fascinating. So, what happens if you don't talk to yourself so nicely? I mean, we've all heard people who do that. Talking negatively to yourself can have different outcomes, but all have a common theme, and it's not productive. Negative self-talk can be fueled by a number of things. So let me give you a few to consider. Some of the non-productive outcomes include irrational beliefs about yourself, maybe a bad mood that isn't addressed, persistent pessimism. How about being overly critical or letting fear and anxiety creep in? These are all very real things that most of us experience, but the trick is stopping them right in their tracks. We don't want to reinforce our negative beliefs. They have no power over us, unless, of course, we give them power. So some examples of negative self-talk, and I really don't even like going there to share these, but I'm going to. I'm not worth it. There's no use. I can't do it. People won't like me. I'm not enough. Others are better than me. My opinions don't matter. Nothing ever goes right. I must be perfect. Now, do not believe these things. They're wrong. Cancel, cancel, cancel. Cancel all that stuff. Excuse me. Up next, I'll be sharing some of examples what to say to yourself instead, the positive side of it, and the power of positivity. Our minds are powerful machines. The thoughts that we produce can translate into action, and that is how we truly achieve greatness. However, if we're filling our minds with negative comments about ourselves and our circumstances, we're creating boundaries for ourselves that we otherwise would not need to overcome. Think of your mind as a computer. You must program it for efficiency to run smoothly and complete its task. Your mind is the exact same way. So instead of negative self-talk examples, I've listed those before. Let's try these instead. I can handle this. I'm making progress. I'm in control of this. I'm willing to attempt it. I will eventually get it. I have many likable qualities. I do not need to compare myself to others. I am complete just exactly the way I am. It's normal for me to feel this way. And my personal favorite is a quote from John Lennon: everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Do you have a favorite phrase you like to tell yourself, or when you're presented with something that's kind of a struggle, what do you say to yourself? I know, quite frankly, it's one of the reasons that when people ask me, Scott, how you doing? My answer is fabulous, and I'll get better. See, when I answer that way, Zig used to say, I'm better than good. I've got another friend that when you say, how you doing, buddy? He goes, I'm wonderful, well-blessed, and highly favored. We have the choice to be able to set ourselves up. The question is, what are we saying? So these mantras or these affirmations are two forms of self-talk that are used to specifically cultivate self-care. Much like positive self-talk, which we were talking about a few minutes ago, their main purpose is to rewire your brain for more confident and a better, more optimistic outlook. The main difference is these are exclusively performed out loud. While they may have a similar goal, mantras and affirmations are different from one another. Mantras are either words or sounds in any language that invoke a deeper focus, maybe a meditative state, or a calming emotion. Many of you may be familiar with the Om mantra that's practiced within the yoga community. The Om vibrates at a frequency of 432 hertz, which happens to be the same vibrational frequency found throughout everything in nature. This is why it's considered a sacred sound. On the other hand, affirmations were developed by neuroscientists in the late 1970s with the goal of redirecting our thought patterns. These tend to be complete sentences addressing something specific. In fact, as I did much study with Jack Canfield for many years, we have an entire process and a program on how to develop your affirmations. If it's something that you'd like, just send me an email, scott@scottschilling.com, and I'll send you how to create effective affirmations. These are also performed out loud. Say something every morning, maybe even when you're looking at yourself in the mirror. It's okay if it feels uncomfortable at first. That's the hallmark of the beginning of the change. So you may say something like, I love who I have become. I let go of negative thoughts and feelings about myself. I am always growing and developing. My opinions resonate with who I am. I am whole and perfect in every way. Both mantras and positive affirmations can help problem solving, create inner clarity, increase positive emotions, increase the likelihood of personal success, and of course, increase confidence. That's what believe is all about. What are some of your favorite mantras or affirmations? I know I've got quite a few, it's just, I've got lists and lists. In fact, I've got something sitting here on my desk that has 43 different affirmations that I pick up and I work to share with myself once a day. Let's talk about the power of habits. Habits can either propel you in the direction to your goals or steer you off the path from them. Either way, they're a powerful contribution to the outcome. There are even books written about habits. Obviously, the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey comes to mind, or The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. Specifically is a fantastic read on how our everyday habits affect the way we see ourselves and our likeliness of achieving our goals. Now, Charles delves into defining a keystone habit as a powerful tool for uncovering your true potential. They are made successful by lending our focus to one centralized goal and seeing our other routines fall appropriately around them. For example, if you are determined to develop a daily exercise routine, it's likely that you'll notice yourself choosing to eat healthier, wake up earlier, and utilize your time more efficiently. Whatever your desired keystone habit might be, the idea is that working towards it will create a ripple effect in changing the other routines in your life. The author says, if you believe you can change, if you make it a habit, the change becomes real. This is the real power of habit. So what is a habit you're looking to implement in your life? I know that my daughter and I were talking about this just last night at dinner, about we're in a new year and time to eat a little healthier. So let's go for the goal. All successful people have one unifying characteristic. They set goals for themselves. Naturally, we're inclined to do so and do what has always worked for us. Therefore, when we set goals and succeed, we are more likely to continue that habit. This is also a huge personal development exercise for us. I know I just did something with Jack Canfield. We have another call coming up in a day or two, and I created 3 goals across all 7 areas of life. So I created 21 goals to start the year and progress throughout the year. And especially the way Jack does it, we make sure that we do how much by when. So we quantify and then also give it a time frame. Just like anything else that you want to be good at, practice is everything. Practicing setting goals for yourself and working towards them helps you recognize the potential and thus strengthening your own confidence in yourself. A few tips to be sure that you get the most out of these goal setting. First of all, take small steps. Create a timeline for yourself. Give yourself credit along the way. Accept that failure is not a reason to give up. Now, I'm going to add something else here. There is no failure without the 4-letter word, quit. I truly believe there's no such thing as failure without quit. Failure is not failure. It is simply a learning event. And when we can learn from it, it now becomes valuable. It moves us in a new and better direction. Become your own best friend. In our ever-connected world, solitude has become a dying art, quite frankly. We always have some way to get in contact with each other. Now, it's not a bad thing, but it certainly can take us away from our relationship with ourselves. Ultimately, we need a little bit of our own quiet time. A few of the benefits of being your own best friend include cultivation of self-awareness. If you're your own best friend, you actually have a much greater understanding of who you are. The ability to support and comfort yourself. If you come into a situation where somebody isn't there that can serve and help you, you can serve and help yourself. Increase acceptance for yourself rather than punishment. In other words, you get the opportunity to make the choice of good or bad in which you accept. And the realization that you are fundamentally worthy. You are. I'm just going to say it that way. You've been uniquely, wonderfully made. Understand that deep down. Think of how you would treat your best friend. Isn't that how you deserve to treat you too? Exactly. Spending time alone doing things that make you happy is a great practice to add to your life. Whether it's reading a good book or strolling in nature, the possibilities for entertainment alone are endless and beneficial. Quite frankly, it's one of the reasons I love golf. Is you're out in nature, you get to enjoy it, and while you're competing on one level, you're also many times walking towards your ball by yourself, and you have that time to just kind of be there. So share some of the things that you love to do. I just shared that I love golf as one thing. Actually, I love quite a few things. What else can we do? Well, how about meditate for confidence, or meditate our way to confidence? Stress is unavoidable. We live in a very fast-paced world. Chemical, physical, emotional stress are all around us, one or a combination of all 3. But managing it is one of the most important ways of, quite frankly, respecting yourself. And meditation can do that. Meditation works by directing your body's attention to the parasympathetic nervous system, better known as triggering our relaxation responses. It triggers feelings of calmness and well-being, all while contributing to clarity against limiting beliefs that we may have about ourselves. In other words, it allows us to flush some of those things if we do the process well. Meditation can be used as an incredible tool as a confidence builder in several ways. It helps you confront negative beliefs that you have probably created yourself. It invites the opportunity to spend quality time with yourself and can become beneficial as a habit added to your daily routine. Now, I've gotten some studies and a variety of things in the resources. Again, if you want the resources that I've used to build this presentation, please reach out to me, scott@scottschilling.com, and I would love to share them with you. This is fascinating to study this material. Meditation can be self-guided using a mantra or an affirmation, or it can be led by an instructor or even an online resource. So I'd encourage you to, attempt whatever's possible and accessible to you sometime in the near future. I guess the question is, do you have any experience with meditation? If you do, just go ahead and throw it in the chat and we'll take a look at that here in a little bit. Journaling is not only a for creative purposes, but it's also for our emotional health as well. My encouragement to you would be to keep a journal around for the times that you're feeling truly stuck on something bringing you down, or even when you accomplish something that you want to celebrate. So it works either side. Celebrate your victories and, journal your frustrations, just to work through them, to get them out. Both situations can equally serve the purpose of boosting your self-confidence. Writing out negative experiences is a tactical way of getting them out of your head and moving more towards a constructive solution. Maintaining a gratitude or a awesomeness journal puts you in a position of recognizing all the good about yourself and your life on a day-to-day basis. Now, I have a memory box that is about 12 by 9 by 5. And when I get thank you cards or congratulations letters or a variety of different things, I put them in my memory box. And so that's other people writing in my behalf. But when you get that time where you want to review, you can go to your memory box. Just another tip or technique that you may want to consider. Whether it's written in a physical notebook or on an online platform or typed on a note section of your phone, you can start journaling at any time. My encouragement to you would be to do that right away. So up next, I'll be sharing some practical journaling prompts to help get you started. There are some different questions you can actually ask yourself. Now, as promised, here are some of the fun journal prompts to help you boost your self-confidence, practice self-love, and begin your writing journal. You might want to write these down or listen to this again at another time and write it down then. What are you grateful for? What do you want to feel tomorrow? How did you surprise yourself this week? What are you really good at? How would your best friend describe you? What makes you so unique? Who appreciates you? What will you accomplish in the next 5 years? What's the best compliment you've ever received? What emotions do you associate with confidence? Write a letter to your body thanking it for all it does for you, getting you from place to place every day. Share in the chat or, go ahead and send me an email about any other topics that could be added to the list. I love to continue growing these presentations and including input. This is an interesting idea that I came across a while back. Dear future me, love present me. you know, while we're on the subject of journaling, there's an effective way to really check in with yourself and establish some inspiration to reach your goals, and that is to write a letter to your future self. This can be really a very insightful experience. It puts you into the now and represents the things you want to be sure you remember. Imagine writing a letter addressed to yourself for you to read 5 years from now. Again, in a lot of the trainings that I did with Jack Canfield, we used to have a come as you'll be party 5 years from now. In other words, we would literally be dressed. If you thought all of a sudden you were going to be an NFL football player, you would come dressed as an NFL football player, or whatever the case might be. Just tremendously fun parties. And then in those parties, we would actually interact and talk about what we did during those 5 years to accomplish what we now were living. It's really a blast. And what would you say to yourself? What kind of questions would you ask? What goals would you want to have achieved? As you write this letter, you begin to think of the actions that you could take on how to ensure that the letter was relevant in the future. So write it up with a pen and paper, seal it in an envelope, keep it in a safe place. You could send it to yourself. Alternatively, there are sites like futureme.org where you can actually write a letter and it'll be sent to you in the future. There's future this, there's a variety of those. So my question is, who's going to do this? And will you share with me what you do? Again, you don't have to share the letter for sure, but just if you're going to, in fact, go ahead and make this happen. So this says seeing is believing, but you know what? Believing is also seeing. So many times we have to believe first before things manifest. So a visual interpretation of your goals, your values, your passions is a great addition to your living space. A vision board in particular can be used to inspire you, cultivate gratitude, express your creativity. I'm just looking off to the left. I've got one hanging over my desk where there's Skinny Scott, and there's a motor yacht that Peggy and I would love to have, and a time where we had a bunch of friends together in the British Virgin Islands, and all sorts of different things I can vision as I'm sitting at my desk. So here's how you do all this. You define your intentions. What do you want? How do you want to feel about that? What is it that you feel you need to have? Then gather the supplies of your choice. You could use poster board, blank sheets of paper. You can find images that resonate with your intentions from the internet, magazines, any resource that you find useful. And then you create. Make sure you create with a mix of words, images, and all the things that fit the qualifying theme of your vision. Place it in a way that makes you feel good and glue away. I mean, literally, this is time to be a kid again with a glue stick, scissors, magazines, cut out the pictures that you want. Place this in an area of your home that you'll be able to see it regularly. Like I said, it's on the left side of my desk as I look at my computer. Everyone will look completely different, and that's kind of the cool part of it, actually, and that's also kind of the point. Maybe you want to cultivate a sense of joy. You'll want to include images and words that make you feel joyful. Maybe it's a security thing, and if that's the case, you want to collect things that make you feel safe. Whatever your goal may be, keep in mind that you are making this for you. So again, in the chat or via email or however you want to do it, how many of you have had experience in creating vision boards? It's actually a fun activity because you get to dream. I mean, you get to put yourself in where you want to be. The next thing I would do is I'd surround yourself with people who push you to be your best self. I mean, There are people who are vision vandals who steal your vision and work to keep you down, and there are people who lift you up and support you. A strong support system is an important tool to have when life gets a little bit heavy. As I mentioned before, building your self-confidence is a work in progress and truly not a linear experience. There are good days, there are bad days. There are things that boost your confidence, there are things that take a little nick at your confidence. Some days you'll feel better than others. Some days you'll be able to find solace alone, and other days you'll need to have a lot of external support and need to be with a bunch of people. All of it's okay. It's all perfect. There's no substitute for having people you can trust and rely on to make you feel good. Turn to your family, your friends when you need to talk rather than getting caught in the dreaded negative self-talk loop that we were talking about earlier. They can lift your spirits and help you recognize faulty beliefs you are manifesting about yourself in trying times. It's one of the things I do as an executive coach. I was working with a client today, and I could hear the client in a whole negative belief pattern, and they were rationalizing and making decisions about a call that they had today based on an experience that they had many years ago. And knowing the parties involved, I know that's not how it happened. I know that the my coaching client was manufacturing a different result from what was being said by the person he was talking to. I just know it. And so as I talked, is it possible that you're stuck in a place that you don't want to be? And all of a sudden he realized he was. You got to surround yourself with people who care about you, that want to push you. That's why I love coaching. I get that opportunity to help people move forward in their lives and in their careers. Stand in your own power. So far we've discussed how to cultivate greatness for yourselves and how we think, reach your goals, and who you surround yourself with. But there's really more. The way to present yourselves is not only as an indicator of your confidence, but it's also, there are ways of strengthening it. We've all heard when you look good, you feel good. But have you heard of power poses? Well, power poses are simply body language that you embody when interacting with people that emulates and creates confidence. Again, I've got a great link to a TED Talk on body language and what an important role it can play. Reach out to me. I'll send it to you. And don't forget to love yourself. This is by far the most important part of the process. Some days you'll feel more confident than other days, but it is a huge feat to love yourself despite it all. You are perfect just the way you are. In fact, I posted on Facebook yesterday, everything that happens to you in life is perfect as soon as time passes and perspective is gained. The reality is the plan and timing are perfect. In all things, work together for your good, for your benefit. Just like things happening are perfect, you are perfect just the way you are. Even when you're not feeling like it, you deserve to be loved, hugged, and reminded regularly that you're freaking awesome. Everyone has different ways of expressing their love for themselves. And here are a few great ideas that I advocate for. And my wife loves this first one. Take a nice long bath. Just loves just taking a bath. Go for a walk outside. Cuddle up in bed late one morning. Make plans with old friends. Unplug for the weekend. Get away from social devices or electronic devices. What? You can do it. Don't worry. Visit your favorite coffee shop. I mean, smell the coffee, smell the roses, right? Even plan an adventure. These are only a fraction of the many things that you can do to show yourself that you're worthy, you're loved. So again, in the chat or via email, what ways do you show yourself love? How do you care for you? How do you do some of those things? Please share, and we'll share them out to everybody else. So I love quotes. I love learning through other people and things that they've said. So here's some quotes that I've assembled. Pick your favorite here and post it somewhere. And so when you need it, go back to it. Here's one from Buddha. You yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. Mark Twain, a man cannot be comfortable without his own approval. We got to be nice to ourselves. Remember always that you not only have the right to be an individual, you have an obligation to be one. Eleanor Roosevelt. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, what lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. Ooh, I love that one. Brigham Young. Why should we worry about what others think of us? Do we have more confidence in their opinions than we have in our own? It's a great question. Too many people overvalue what they are not and undervalue what they are. It's Malcolm Forbes. Louise Hay, great lady. You have been criticizing yourself for years, and it hasn't worked. Try approving yourself and see what happens. Great wisdom there, Louise. Oscar Wilde, to love oneself is the beginning of a lifelong romance. Another Eleanor Roosevelt, no one can make you inferior without your consent. So if you have some great quotes, please feel free to share those. I really appreciate it. We're wrapping this up, and I just want to say thank you for sharing this experience with me. I love sharing on this topic with people who are eager to take control of their lives and truly achieve their greatness. Also, don't forget to thank yourself for loving yourself enough to take some time with yourself. And if you have any questions, either please post them and or email me at scott@scottschilling.com. I'm always here to support you. I had the honor of sharing the stage, and I want to share one more quote from CharlieTremendous Jones. You will be the same person in 5 years as you are today, except for the people you meet and the books you read. CharlieTremendous Jones. Now, I was blessed to share the stage with Charlie at his last public event before his passing. And at that event, he even gave me an endorsement for my first book, Talking with Giants. It means the world to me. It's amazing how people create inspiration in others. You have that opportunity as well. I want to share with you one of those books that I know Charlie would be talking about if he was still here. And that's my latest book. That Sucks. What Now? Real world solutions for getting through what you're going through. That sucks just simply is a realization of understanding. I wish it hadn't happened that way. And what now is it's no time for a pity party. It happened. That sucks. What now? But these are the real world solutions for getting through what you're going through. This is what I've learned over my time here on Earth, my time on the planet, really working to use what others consider to be failure as learning events going forward. My encouragement to you is to visit tswnbook.com and order yours today. There are some tremendous pre-delivery bonuses still available to you. I think you'll be glad that you take advantage of them. One of them is $100 bonus. I can assure you the book isn't $100. You're already making money for saving money with the book. I want to thank you again. I had a blast with this. Already seen several of you send me questions. Now keep in mind, I'm here for all of you. Please share the most valuable piece of information you learned from this experience in the chat box and or send it to scott@scottschilling.com. Also, if you need support on the journey, I'm more than happy to help. I mean, I am an executive coach. I'm a international trainer and speaker. It is what I do, and I would love to be of service to you. Drop me a line. Follow me on all the social medias: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. My handle on all of them is Scott Schilling and the number 8. SCOTTSCHILLING, the number 8. I hope that I hope that this Believe webinar has exceeded your expectations and you truly feel equipped to begin believing in your own greatness because you deserve it. God bless. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to come up, see if we have any comments up here. Don't see any comments in the chat at the moment. So again, please feel free to send them to me. And let me just see if I can unclick my own, or I can unmute my own camera. That would make sense, wouldn't it? And I can't do that at the moment. So I'm just going to say, thank you all for joining me here tonight. Thank you for listening and watching the replay. Know that I'm here for you, Scott@scottschilling.com, and look forward to a great 2020. Look forward to seeing you soon. God bless.